It's been a difficult week to say the least. We'll try to bring you up to date on everything we know so far as Labor This Week begins now. Good evening, I'm Mark Harrison. As the week draws to an end, this is what we know as of this taping, which is mid-afternoon Eastern Daylight Time on March the 20th. That's Friday. Jobless claims from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic are rising quickly and showing the largest week-to-week rise since the 2008 financial meltdown. Indeed, the most recent data we have for jobless claims shows a spike of more than 70,000 claims. We know the heaviest hits so far are being felt in the hospitality industries. However, without additional, immediate, and of a scale never before seen intervention by the federal government, these figures will look insignificant by the time we report them next week. In fact, we are very likely to see unemployment figures on a scale never before seen in our nation going forward. Some estimates are that numbers for this week alone, which are not yet out, will be over 2 million. As a note, President Trump has asked that states not report that number for fear of the stock market. I don't agree with that. In certain pockets of the country, like Washington State and New York and Boston, claims are much higher already. Compounding this is the sheer inability of unemployment claims offices to process applications, with phone times running into hours-long spans actually, and in some cases offices closing due to the spread of the virus. Honestly, simply trying to report to you seems like a feeble attempt at the truth, as we just don't know a lot of facts, but we are trying and we are working hard. Now, many of our leaders are now calling for a complete cessation of life as we know it in terms of social and work interaction by recommending that all business stops and that people self-quarantine for 30 days. Now that, advocates say, will allow the number of cases to flatten dramatically and in the end get everyone back to work sooner. Along with that, the thinking goes that it calls for a suspension of bill collection from all creditors across the board. This story is developing. We'll continue to update you as we can. I'll be right back with some more information about federal intervention. You can find out more about the Labor Network by visiting thelabornetwork.com and by following us on your favorite social media outlets, including Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Stitcher. The United States Senate is still meeting at this hour. It's a little before 5 o'clock on the East Coast. They're meeting with the White House, both Democrats and Republicans. They're trying to finalize the $1 trillion plus economic stabilization package. Republican leadership has drafted a plan that would send payments of $1,200 to individual taxpayers and $2,400 to families, with an additional $500 per child. The payments would not go to everyone, however, with check amounts lessening for individuals earning more than $75,000, with individuals who made more than $99,000 and families earning more than $198,000 not receiving any type of monetary benefit at all. Remember, this is based on this Republican plan. It would be based on your 2018 taxes, not on what you paid last year, let alone what you're making this week, next week, or the following week. As things move, a lot of people are not going to be working at all. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin said Thursday that the administration wanted to send 2 waves of $1,000 checks to every American and another $500 per every child. So understand that the Republicans in the Senate are actually breaking with what the White House is asking for. The checks are scheduled to be sent, one in April and one in May. The package also contains massive bailouts for small and large businesses, with a significant package proposed for U.S. airlines. Democrats have balked at the Republican version, and sources have warned that the details of the negotiations were changing quickly and that nothing was for certain. Senate Leader McConnell is holding senators back from break until the deal is hammered out. Congressional leadership is hoping to sign the relief package within the next few days. I'll be back with some final thoughts in just a moment. We come to the part of the show where I tend to give you my thoughts about this past week, where we depart from journalism and consider, ponder, think about things, if you will. Many of you tell me you like my sarcasm and my dry sense of humor. And while I appreciate that, we all appreciate that actually, this is a team effort. I'm just the messenger. I can't do that right now. That's not where we are. With one small exception, because I wrote this last night. We had to revise it today because last night we broke stories actually before the major networks did on the allegations of our elected officials. And so I have to give you some thoughts on this. The members of our United States Senate trading out vast amounts of stock holdings to protect their personal wealth is disgusting. It is beyond disgusting. It is illegal and, in my opinion, quite possibly treasonous. These people had advanced knowledge of a deadly disease threatening their constituents, and they kept it a secret in the name of profit. But I digress. Trust me, on the other side of this unprecedented mess we now find ourselves in, you will get plenty of that, and we will find ourselves right back where we were after the financial meltdown of 2008, and possibly a whole lot worse. But when that time comes, and more importantly, right now, this very minute, from here on forward, we have got to watch out for each other. We had a report yesterday that lines at a gun store in Philadelphia were out the door and down the street. When the Observer questioned police about whether or not that was legal, the officer answered that indeed it was, and that's just how some people deal with situations like we now find ourselves in. That's not the best way we're going to get through this. Jumping over the orange juice to get to the last package of hot dogs and knocking people over on the way in the grocery store is not the best way we are going to get through this. Look, I'm not an expert epidemiologist, but a logical and calm assessment of the facts and a look at all the new hashtags about social distancing and flattening the curve have some solid science behind them. The quicker we get the spread of this virus to stop or at least slow dramatically, the quicker we can all get back to some sense of normalcy, and the quicker we can all begin to restore our working lives. When this is over, it will be imperative, more than ever, that we all speak with one voice. And right now, it's time for all of us to look after each other as best we can. And if that means staying away from people and isolating ourselves, so be it. If it means arranging for food to be delivered to older or infirm folks who don't understand the technology behind the internet and that idea, so be it. If it means talking with fellow employees about juggling schedules to help those with children at home, so be it. Be safe. Be good to each other. Stay informed. We will be posting links to all of the latest news as fast as we can on our Facebook page, so keep an eye out for that. And I'll be back with video programs for you as often as we can. Trust me. On the other side of this, we will be a deafening voice on behalf of all of you. All of you. All of you by now know that we don't shrink from a fight here at the Labor Network. And I will be more than willing to lead a charge in the name of what's righteous and fair to the majority of the people in this country. I'm Mark Harrison, and I'll see you next week. Be safe.